Hi there, I'm Corey Barger, and this is Bassoon Lessons Online. Today's lesson is about how to clean up your finger technique. If you're traveling from one note to another and you have what I like to call the blahs, where it sounds like this, where you can hear several notes in between, blah, blah, that means that you have fingers that are not all moving at the same time. And in order to have good, tidy finger technique, you need to have a very regulated and even movement from one note to another. So say we're going from F to C. First you have to think about which fingers are involved with this movement. To play low F, we've got 1, 2, 3 in the left hand with the whisper key and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right. If I shift to C, I open everything on my right hand. If all of these fingers do not move consistently, then you're going to hear, and you need to figure out exactly which finger or fingers is doing this. So here you need to experiment a little bit. Get a hypothesis as to which finger you suspect might be the culprit. For me, if I have technical problems, it's often the third finger on either hand, just because this finger is always the weakest finger for pretty much everyone. Anatomically speaking, it's not the most coordinated, so it always just needs a little bit extra encouragement. So if I think that perhaps my third finger on the right hand is the one that's slow, what I'm going to do is essentially play 3 notes. I'm going to play F, and then I'm going to play C, but I'm going to hold down the third finger of my right hand to check to see if that in-between note is what I was hearing before. So you can hear 3 distinct notes there, but actually that's not what the problem was. So now I need to figure out, I need to try another finger. Now I'm going to see what happens if it's my pinky finger that is the slow one. I'm going to play F, and then I'm going to hold down my pinky finger but release the other fingers, and then we'll see if that's making the sound. So what I hear is a hollow sound as my in-between sound, and that's not really what I was getting. I was actually getting more of a different pitch. So that tells me that it's a finger that's going to actually affect the pitch of the note in question, rather than something that would just affect the resonance. So think about which fingers might be doing that. An obvious answer is the first finger, because that's the one that would be the very next note down from C. You can see the real winner here is the first finger, because that is the sound that was in between. You can experiment with this each time, and you'll notice more and more which fingers are the ones that are moving too slowly. You can also have fingers that are moving faster than the other ones. You can think of this as several other fingers moving slower, or one other finger moving too fast. It's really up to you. But once you figure out which one is the problem, then you need to work slowly to make sure that the movements of those fingers are coordinated together. So now I'm going to make sure that my first finger moves at the same time that the rest of my fingers on my right hand do. I'm going to kind of imagine my right hand as a little flipper, so that everything moves at the same time, in the same height, and in the same speed. And then after a little while, maybe after a couple of days of doing this for short periods of time, that problem will be more or less solved. Sometimes you have to keep coming back to specific things. Like I said, I tend to always have to come back to third finger situations, more so on the left hand than on the right, but we each have our own little idiosyncrasies. So I would love to hear if this is helpful for you. Leave me a comment and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments as well if there are any other topics that you would like to have covered here on Bassoon Lessons Online. Have a great afternoon and happy bassooning!